ground what's it called again? Wine and coal or some shit.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Just use that one.
You want
Is
the
there a bar
name?
right next to it or some shit?
I don't think so. What did you say the name was?
You say it? You say it?
I'm pretty sure it's like, just like, Hughes, I don't know. It's not that much of a bottle shop name, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's just used our fucking beers or some bullshit like that.
That could be.
Come on!
Pull up in the Sri Lanka.
Well, I don't remember the name, but
I think just beers, man.
nah, it's not. That was like.
Yeah, I told Jude about like when you come on the corner, like the classic feeling, like you're waiting, like you're biting the nail.
Imagine I don't get it.
Corner.
Yes, I don't care. Come on.
I showed him like, yeah, come on.
Yeah, coming around with yeah, fuck on.
Yeah,
Yeah, come on. I'm hyped for you, unless I don't get it. Oh, good D. No, I'm pretty sure it's like Hughes now. Like, bro, I swear it's like some mediocre ass name.
Yeah, like this, like Hughes though, beer or some shit.
Yeah, some Hughes sound fucking like drinks. Oh, fucking that bullshit. Yes, score then! Alright, do you want me to tell you a story about today?
Nah, man. Fuck it. Yeah. Let it out.
It's not that, like...
man.
But I'll start a conversation. So, pretty much. There's this one kid called Cooper, yeah?
Yeah.
And he's like, mostly jammers, mate. He goes bike riding and hangs out with jammers, like bike riding mates, yeah?
Yeah.
And he sort of, for the last couple weeks, I'd say, has sort of been like lurking around our friendship group a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Like he sits, when we sit at this table, he sort of like sits there, yeah? And like he doesn't really contribute, like says some bullshit comments every once in a while that aren't funny.
Everyone's like looks around kind of like...
Yeah, like, no one really wants him there, man. No one actually like wants him there. Not really, no.
He kind of wants to like differentiate the groups, yeah, a bit.
Well, he just like doesn't want him in the group. Like he's just not a part of the group, pretty much. Like
Yeah. He tries
he's just
to be,
like,
but he's not.
yeah.
What is happening? Yeah.
Anyway, so for the past about a week, we've been talking about like Saturday night for the long weekend, yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell you, like, I've told you what they're doing on Saturday, yeah, that I can't go.
Yeah, that's so sad, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, what are they doing? They're going out.
They're doing the Sidos.
What's the Sidos?
The ass.
Again, shit.
Anyway. So, he sits with us here at lunchtime. And he, like, overhears, like, our combos, because obviously he's there. And we're just, like, all talking about it.
Fuck that. Oh! Shit.
Bro, I tried to double tap and I held it. Anyway. So he's just been, like, overhearing the combos, yeah? And, like, each day for the last week, he's been sort of, like, adding more stuff, sort of hinting that he's coming, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, he'd be like... I forget specific examples, but he'd be like, oh yeah, you know it would be so sick if we just, like it'd say we, as in like he's coming. Yeah? And be like, oh, imagine like we're just sitting there and, like we were talking about going to the beach, and he's like, oh, imagine just sitting at the beach and we're just like staring at the sand and people are just watching us. Like, acting like he's coming, yeah? And then he was also talking about, like our group was talking about, like how much they're taking and shit. And it was like, oh well, I'll just like pop this much and that sort of bullshit. Yeah, like he was sort of just saying, oh yeah, and I'll pop this half and shit. Yeah.
Putting money or some shit.
Well, no, he's saying like he already has one, like for next week. But he's like, oh yeah, I'll just pop the. Oh! I'm not even a card. I'll just like pop. I'll just take half and shit like that. Like sort of implying that he's coming, yeah.
Yeah.
And for the past like 2-3 days, since like Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shit like turn of events. Anyway, since about Tuesday night, we've been discussing like we don't really want him to come. Like it'd be better if he doesn't come. No one wants him there, yeah, and he's invited himself. No one ever said to him, or he never asked like, "Can I come?" Or no one said, "Cooper, do you want to come?" Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but he's implying that he's coming.
You don't know how to break it off to him like, oh bro, you can't come.
So, let me continue with my story.
Yeah.
So pretty much, me and Jam were discussing on Tuesday at cricket, like, what's the go, like?
What's the move about it, yeah?
Like, do you want him to come? And he's like, nah, like, he sort of invited himself and stuff. Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good night. So, pretty much. Oh my god. Me and Jam were like, no, he invited himself, like, we don't really want him to be there. And I think earlier that day we were discussing, like, or maybe the day after, we were like, oh, well, like, how are we gonna, like, tell him? And he's like, and I just go, like, I volunteer, yeah? So I'm like, I'm gonna, if no one, like, if it,
do it, someone's gonna do it, yeah? So it's gonna man up.
So I think, it was like, there was like, oh no, if he keeps doing this, like, and if no one's gonna, like, say anything, I'll volunteer to, like, tell him to piss off, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, so like,
What a save, God. What a save!
for the past, like, 2 days, earlier from today, maybe, mostly yesterday, to be honest, like, I was speaking to Jammer, like, what's the go? Like, me and Toby Dawson, like, and Jammer.
So you volunteered to tell him to fuck off. Like, piss off a bit.
Yeah, I volunteer, yeah, I'm like, yeah, if no one's gonna do it, I'll do it, yeah?
Yeah.
So, pretty much. We, like, talk about it, we talk about strategies, like, oh, when are we gonna say it? Stuff like that, so it's like, yeah, I'll do it. If you guys can't do it, I'll do it. Even though I'm not even coming, yeah? So, pretty much, I sort of make my plan yesterday and today. I was talking to Toby yesterday, like last period.
Yeah.
And we're sort of like hypothetically like practicing.
Oh,
and saying like,
tell him to fuck off, bro.
And we were like practicing, like, how are we gonna tell this kid? Like, when are we gonna tell him? Like, and I was like, yeah, alright. So we sort of made a plan, like a bit of an excuse for him not to come.
Yeah, like the parents weren't allowed. I don't know.
So, yeah, something like that.
Like won't have too much people over or some shit. One of those ones.
Yeah. So we tell him. Well, this is Thursday. I mean Wednesday night. Last period. So I go, alright, so today last period, I'm gonna tell him. So at the time that was tomorrow last period. So Thursday last period, I'm in the same class as him, and I'm gonna tell him that, like, you know.
So Wednesday last period, you play on Thursday last period. Tell him, yeah.
Yeah, which is today last period.
So something happened. Yeah, get to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going. Well, keep going down the story.
So the whole day is pretty normal. Except like I'm talking to people about like how they feel about it, and they're like, oh, I don't know if I could do that, like stuff like that. Because there's a lot of pressure on me to do this. People are saying they can't do it themselves. They feel bad. Anyway, we get to like the end of lunch, and I go to English class, yeah, which is with Morgan and Moff, which are both coming on Saturday. So I sit next to them, yeah. Actually, I only sit next to Morgan, and we're just talking about like what to say, stuff like that. And
yeah.
You know, I sort of get reminded. I kind of forgot till about then. Anyway, once that period finishes, I get a solid idea about what's going to happen. I brace myself a bit, I'm a bit nervous, to be honest. But me and Moff go, because me and Moff have class together next, which is last period, which is studio art, which is when I'm going to tell him. So we go to my locker, and then walk all the way across the school to our next class, and we're sort of just talking about it. And he's like, oh, I forgot that happened, like, I can't be there, because he's sort of the one that's closest to Cooper. Like,
Who, Moss?
Yeah, he'd hang out with him, like...
He doesn't want to be the situation where you tell him, yeah?
He doesn't want to, like, be involved with that, yeah? He doesn't want to be there. He's like, nah, I can't be there, man. That's really, like...
Weird for me, yeah.
Like, sort of fucking scary and shit. Like, I don't want to, like, me and Cooper to be different after this. He's like, yeah, alright.
That makes sense, bro.
Pretty much we rock up to class, and he sits in the front row, which is where we usually sit, but I sit, like, on this table on the side. Like, there's this... Like, there's 3 rows, yeah, of about 6 seats, 7 seats.
Yeah, 18.
And, but then there's this little, like, table with, like, you could probably fit 2 people on each side.
It's a 4 or some shit.
So me, Henners, H. Marts, H. Millsy, and Moff.
Yeah.
We all sit there. All 3 of us sit there. And, like, I tell H, like, oh, it's a big day for Cooper, and he's like, why? Why? And he's like, I don't get it. Because I don't know, he didn't know, or he forgot or something, yeah?
Mm.
So I'm like, oh, I'm telling this kid, like, he can't come on Saturday. And he's, like, sort of, like, excited about it and shit. Not H, but Cooper's, like, excited about coming and shit. So it's like, I'm gonna have to break disappointing news, man. Like, I hate giving good people bad news. But he's like, oh, really? That's so dog. Not dog, but like, oh, that's kind of... H was saying that. It's like, oh, that's kind of sad. Yeah. Oh, fuck. And it's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna do it. I have to do it. Like, if I don't do it today, firstly, it's gonna stick with me forever. Or for all night, it's gonna be like, fuck, I should have just told him. Now I'm gonna have to do it tomorrow. I was like, yeah, this is what I was saying to myself. I was like, if I don't tell him, I'm just gonna have to stick with this all night. And I was gonna, fuck, like, with all the regret, like, I should have just done it.
So where was he? Another one of those rows or some shit?
He's in a different row to us, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, like, I don't know how to, like, I can't, pretty much it's going through my head saying, I have to do this. Like, if I don't do this, it's going to stick with me all night, and I'm going to be like, fuck, I should have just told him. And secondly, I'm sort of, like, failing my team. And, like, I can't just say I'm going to do something and then not do it. Because then it's just, like, pretty much saying, I can't do it, which means no one can do it, which means he's coming. Yeah?
Yeah, lots of sort, kind of.
So I'm like, fuck, man, I'm going to have to do this. Like, not only for me, but for my team and my friends. So I'm like, alright, let's do this shit. I'm hyped. I'm getting a bit hyped up. I'm like, yeah, you can do this, man. Like, who gives a fuck? It's not that big of a deal. So, Cooper goes to get some water.
Oh, no. Unfolds, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, come on.
And after about... like 5 minutes, like, I'm like, Moff, like, when should I do this? And he's like, I reckon you do it now. Moff's like, I reckon you do it now. I just go to meet him and then have a chat to him, like, because that would be good, like, one-on-one. It's not in class. Because I'm thinking, like, I can't do this in class. It's not the right time in class. It won't work, yeah?
Yeah.
So Moff's like, why don't you go to meet him? And I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it. So I asked my teacher, like, can I please fill out my drink bottle? And she's like, yeah, sure. So I leave. And H comes with me. He's sort of like behind me, but he's going to take a whiz or something like that. So he's like, oh, come in the toilets, because he thinks he's in there. I'm like, nah, I'm going to go fill my drink bottle up, because I actually needed to. He's like, yeah, alright. So I go fill my drink bottle up. And then I go into the toilets, because I need to take a whiz. And he's not in there, yeah?
Yeah.
It's like, alright, well, he's not in there. So I'm thinking, like, whilst I'm filling my drink bottle up, I'm like, shit, man. Come on, this is about to go down. Like, what are you going to say? Like, I'm a bit nervous. Like, I'm like, alright, well, let's do this shit. It's not that big of a deal. But then, like, he's not there. and like return back to class, and he's sitting on our table, yeah, on our little like table with Moth. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, alright. So I sit in the table and I act like everything's normal. What? I act like everything's normal.
Fuck yeah, yeah. Oh,
Like everything's normal, and then I'm like, fuck, so when am I gonna do this? I can't say, oh, Cooper, like, I don't really want you to come, like, just randomly, with everyone on our table. That'd be so awkward for everyone. Fuck you, man. So, I'm like, when am I gonna do this? I'm like, I'm gonna have to do this after class. Like, I can't just do it now, it won't work. And Ella's texted me, like, oh, because she went home. She was like, oh, like, has it happened? We made a little bet, like, we put a little slab on it. Like, whether I'm going to do it or not. She thinks I'm going to pussy out, and I'm like, nah, I'm going to do it. So she's like, texting me saying, oh, slab's on. But when are you going to do it and shit like that? And I'm like, it's going to happen. At the end, after school. Oh my, it's a red. That's not even close to the ball. Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm like, alright, I'm going to have to do this after school. So it's approaching 3 o'clock, which we finish at 3:20. I'm like, ah, shit. I'm not that far off. Let's do this shit. And it's just like really tense. He's like sitting at our table. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, when's this class gonna end? Like, what am I gonna say to like grab his attention and shit? And I'm like, oh, fuck. What am I gonna do? And it's like slowly, like time's moving slowly. I'm like, ah, shit. I'm gonna have to do this. So I'm like, yeah, alright, I got this. So, oh my god! Oh my god! So I'm like, alright, let's do this shit. So, the teacher sends us out. She goes, guys, like, you guys can pack up if you're up to date with all your work. And I'm like, yeah, alright, cool. So he like leaves and he's like to Moff, are you taking the tram? And he goes, nah, I've got rowing. And then I'm like, oi, Cooper, wait up. And he's like, to me, are you taking the tram? I'm like, nah, I just want to have a chat for a bit, come here. So I'm like, pull him aside a bit. Like, outside of the doorway, so we're not fucking standing there. And he's like, yeah, what's up? So I'm like, this is just about Saturday. So I don't remember the exact words, and I'm like, so this is like what we've been planning for months. Like as a group. So like, and so he's not doing the yogurt. That's the code word, right? He's not doing the yogurt. So I was like, well, especially if you're not doing the yogurt. Like we'd just like to keep it as our core group this time. And he's like, oh, yeah, alright. And he's like, well, I understand, like, if I'm the only one not doing it, it might be a bit weird. So I'm like, yeah, like, don't take it too personal, it's just, we just want to keep it as a core group this time.
Give me a sec, over.
Like Monty.
is the kickoff here for the second half. He's coming. Good vision.
Fuck, I was actually on.
David Lopez. Sanchez. Well read by the defender.
Get hit. Go.
Attacking now.
Hello. Hello.
Yo. Alright. So, can I continue with my story?
Yeah.
So, like, I bring him over, I'm like, oh my fucking god. I just ripped my undies, cunt. No, my cricket undies. Anyway, who gives a fuck? I'll still wear them.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah.
So, I'm like telling him, like, oh, it's a core group. I would rather just, if you don't come, pretty much, yeah? I'm telling him, like, to his face, like, we don't want you to come. And he's like, yeah, alright. Like, I can tell he's, like, really red faced. Like, he's a bit flustered, yeah. Bit embarrassed, maybe. But, you know, he goes, yeah, alright, well, I understand. Like, if I'm not doing it, it's fair that I don't come. Yeah! So, it's pretty good. It seems that it's pretty good, yeah? So, like, I'm telling him it's all good. I'm like, yeah, I'll shake his hand, like, yeah, thanks for understanding. Don't take it too personal, man. He's like, yeah, I won't. Alright, good. So we, like, walk out together, like, it seems pretty chill. He's like laughing a bit. I, like, ask him, well, aren't you doing that next week anyway? And he's like, yeah. Alright, well, that's good. And then he's like laughs and he goes, did they get you to tell me? And he's like, yeah. Like, did they pick you to tell me? He goes, and I'm like, yeah. And he's like, we just laugh. And he goes, alright, well, have a good night. He's like, yeah, you too. So it seems pretty chill, yeah.
Like, yeah, it's good chill out it, I guess. Man.
Like, I've gotten it off my chest and, like, I've got cricket now, so I'm happy. Like, everything's going good. No big deals. Like, we're happy. So, I tell Jammer and Toby the news. Like, I tell most people the news. Morgan texts me, I tell her. I tell Moff, I see him at cricket, before cricket. I tell H, because he was in my class. Ella texted me, I gave her a quick text saying, like, it's done, I'll talk about it later. And then, like, it's all good, so, like, everyone's saying, oh, thanks so much, like, that means a lot, because I'm not even going. And I just, like, did that, when no one else had the balls to do it. Anyway, that happened, so he's like, it seems like, yeah, he's not coming. So Jammer calls me, yeah?
Yeah.
And he goes, we're just talking, like, oh, like, how much money you want to bring tomorrow and shit like that. Then he goes, so the Cooper thing has escalated a bit. And I'm like, ooh, like, laugh like, oh shit, like, what happened? What's happening? And he goes, from what I remember, he's like, got a text from him saying, who specifically, like, didn't want me to come? And Jammer's like, not naming names, he's like, oh, I don't know, like,
yeah.
I think it would just be, like, a bit shit for your first time, like, because it's his first time, yeah? He's like, oh, it's a bit shit for your first time, like, another people, like, making, yeah, he's not. Like, if it was, it's, you know what I mean, like, if it was, which it was gonna be. He's like, yeah, come on, boys! Anyway, he's like, yeah, well, first time and make people like uncomfortable and shit if you're the only one not doing it, yeah. Out of like 7 people. But Cooper's like, and then he leaves Jammer on open. And I think before, he said, I don't know when this happened in what chronological order this happened, but he was also like, oh, well, I'm just gonna smoke like a fuck ton. So it's like the same thing. He said that to Jammer. But Jammer, like, didn't know how to respond. Because, like, if you respond like, yeah, alright, that means he's coming, and my whole discussion was not true. Even if Jammer doesn't want him to come. Like, no one does. So he can't say, like, yeah, alright, sure. But he can't just say, like, no, you can't. You know what I'm saying?
So he says he's gonna come and just smoke instead, yeah?
Yeah.
Jammer didn't want to say okay, because he said okay, then it means he was invited, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't want him to be invited. Because he said it's just, like, awkward, like. Because that is an invite, saying, oh, if he says, I'll just smoke, and just say, okay, sure. That is an invite.
Saying like, yeah, you can come and just do that then.
So you can't say okay, but you can't just say...
You guys are kind of saying the reason is he's not going to be done the third time, cover the fact that he kind of don't really want him there, it's in general.
Yeah, and we were saying, like, he just hasn't picked up the message that we just don't want him there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a mix of both, yeah, a bit.
What? Well, not really, we couldn't really give a shit, like, if it was... Because if it was anyone else, like, yeah, simple as that. Like, it'd just sort of ruin it a bit. That's what we were saying, like, especially if he wasn't doing yoga. But, and we were like, if it was me or, which is what it was gonna be, like, I probably wouldn't have done it. Because me and Toby were like, nah, we're not gonna do it. Because, like, we don't need to do it. Like, I don't really want to necessarily. Like, I want to, but I don't really need to, you know what I'm saying? I'm fine with whatever I have. But he's just like, oh my god. But like, it's just, we don't really want him there. Come on. So, he's texting Jammer like saying, oh, I just like, who said like, I didn't want to come and shit like that. So he's like, he's pretty mad about it. Like, he left Jammer on open after he, so like, at the moment, it's a bit like, you know, it's a bit tense, to be honest. Because now, like, we got to deal with him tomorrow after saying we don't like him, we don't want him in the friendship group, pretty much. So,
this is really long, man, this is fucked. I'm interested in shit, but like, fuck, mate, that's really long.
I mean, I kind of dragged it on just for the...
Yeah, obviously.
Yes, keeper!
Tell me really small, like, fucking factors and stuff, like how he felt and shit when you told him.
But yeah, pretty much, man, like, this is where it's at. Oh.
Fuck, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where it's at.
So, what now, is just a bit salty, that?
I think he's a bit mad, like, that he didn't really... that no one really wants him there. But the thing is, man, this kid just like invited himself. He legit invited himself. Like, no one ever asked him, like, do you want to come?
He's never really originally in the group, yeah?
No, he was not. Like, if it would have been different. Like, he's just, no one wants him there that much, man.
Fuck.
Like, he just sits with us and everyone just looks at each other, you know? Fuck off.
Yeah, like this guy, yeah.
Yeah.
He goes a bit early, gets a bit too eager.
What? I don't know. Is he like a good bloke though?
He's a solid bloke. He's a solid bloke. He's not that good of a bloke.
He's not like a friend bloke, you know what I mean? Yeah?
Yeah, like I wouldn't really hang out with him personally. He's just like a bit weird, sort of. Like he's just not, I don't know, he's just not that good of a bloke.
You're a dog cunt.
Well,
you mean
don't think...
You just,
like he just makes shit calls, he's just not that funny, like... I don't know, man.
Fuck. It's fucking brutal, man. I'd feel pretty sad if I was in the position.
Yeah, man. Bro, I had to go up to a kid.
Because he's probably, like, realising right now, like recently. So like, for like the past like week, bro, he's just, no one's really like fucking wanted him. It's probably realizing like around now, like, fuck man, like.
Yeah, I can sort of tell. Me and Moff was saying like, Moff was like to me, oh, this kid's depressed. Like, surely he knows, because he just walks around like, really like sadly.
Now.
Yeah.
After this conversation.
No, like during class before it happened.
John Guidetti.
There's a dangerous feel to the
Bro, I'm so dumb.
Fuck out of here, mercy.
But that is pretty much where it's at.
So what's the plan though? Just wait for him to kind of do something.
Turned away by the goalkeeper spectacularly. No doubt.
Pardon me?
So he's gonna wait for him to say something and do something.
I guess, man, but I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. I don't really know, like, what's gonna happen.
Fuck.
But I just hope that, like, he doesn't rock up, man. Surely he just gets a message.
Oh, he still hasn't gotten the message. Fuck off.
Because he was like to Jammer, like, who doesn't want me? It's like, I'll still go and just smoke a shit ton.
Oh.
Like, we had to, like, give him,
What did James say to that?
he didn't know how to respond.
What did he actually say?
I don't remember. I don't know if he told me. He just said that to me. He didn't know how to respond. Maybe he's like, I think he might be undelivered.
Someone just has to man up, bro, legit, and straight up tell him. Like,
Well, that's what I did, but I was like,
no, but you can't like, you know, sleep under the carpet, like fucking hide it as you're not doing acid or it's awkward. Straight to tell him, but like, no one really wants you to be there, like, you're not really in the group too much. Like,
that's what I said. I said, we just want it to be the core group, and we don't really want you to be there. That's what I said. I said, we just want it to be the core group, meaning he's not in the core group.
So it used to be a bit like, not all there, but it's not getting the message kinda.
Yeah, well, I think, and like, I was gonna originally say like, oh, just like piss off, no one wants you, but he'll just think it's a joke.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't really get it like that, you know what I'm saying?
That sounds kind of rude though, so.
Yeah. Like, these kids would want it to be like, really nice to him, like, oh, look, it's alright, and shit like that. But pretty much. That's how the story goes. I think I had something else to say.
I've been in a similar position, man. Maybe like no, not me. Like my group and like some kid from that way, like year 7 kinda. And he did tag along, man, because we always kind of accepted it. At one point, we fell into the trap. Like then he kind of got out of the group again. Get the fuck off me!
I'm such an idiot.
Kept tripping me over and shit. Connor.
Connor? Who the fuck is Connor? Anyway, that's pretty much their story so far.
Sam again?
Oh,
Connor.
Cooper.
Cooper. Is he like a big bloke, strong bloke?
Is he strong?
Doesn't have much to do with it. I'm just like, oh my fuck.
Off?
It fucking has to be.
Yes! Oh my god! Oh my god! Bro, get rid of it.
Oh, it's red. Red. It's fucking red, Con. Okay, so is he like big?
No, he's skinny and lanky.
Fuck, man. Man, strap talent, man. Like, say really more like the boys are the lads. Does he have other friends?
Yeah, he hangs out with... Well, not really at school, that's the thing. Like, he hangs out... He has mates, like, outside.
We've had some chances, Alan, but it's
Nice.
we've had a goal. They've still got the lead.
Nice!
Not nice enough, son.
They look pretty secure with this lead at the moment.
Oh,
Come on! Good day. But yeah, pretty... Oh, what? What a way to throw it away. I feel like I had something else to say. Oh yeah, he like... Yeah, he just like doesn't get the message, man.
That's what you need to be in these situations. Clinical, have no mercy. They just didn't show it.
Man, just text him now, bro. Legit text him now.
I don't even know. Oh yeah, I think I do have him added.
Legit text him now on the marks, mate, man.
Say
Get it
what?
over. Say, look, man. Between me and you, the other boys, like, just legit. I reckon kind of blame it on them. Don't like no.
I did say that to them, but it just wouldn't work.
Oh.
Good day, man. That's really good, bro.
He did fuck all. You don't even control that character. Till now.
Slabs on.
No. Yeah, you're buying a slab for the party. George is pretending to be the mum, pretending to be the mother. Hi, Irene. This is Julie, Jamie's mom. Using commas and shit. Really so funny.
You should go. You should just go on your mum's phone and just like screenshot something, or just look at it. And how she texts, like, take a bit of notes.
She doesn't call, man. If she texts, we should be on it. We should be good.
Yeah, probably. Unless like she just calls you like during the night, yeah. Let's say during the night, yeah. She calls you, like asking like, oh,
like pick up or some shit.
Yeah. Cause then like, especially if you're on it, you're cooked.
Oh no. It comes getting. What did you say? Comes like.
Well, that's like his fault anyway. You probably won't get in that much trouble, to be honest.
He will way more trouble than me.
Yeah. Nah, gee.
Man, legit just text him. Do you want me to text him, man?
Bro, fuck off.
Let me text him, man. Legit, let me text him, because I have no correlation with him, really. Probably never seen him in my life.
Bro, that is so dumb, man. Shut. Bro, I lost.
Legit, let me text him.
You're so annoying. Bro, texting what? Saying you're not a part of the boys anymore.
Just say, hey man, I'm friends with some of them. Nah, obviously not, I'm not gonna do it. It wouldn't be a bad idea, you know it too.
Bro, I know it's a shit idea, what do you mean?
Yeah, I was just a bit truth, like, look man, you're not wanted there. And then he would be like, fuck, and then he'd be like, who? And then I'll say some random cop from your school. It's like a fucking teacher or something.
Bro, shut up, man.
Yeah, my bad. I lost. Yeah, it was all good to say that lost, but you know it too.
No.
So lying.
Yes! One of my best tackles! Oh, what? If it's a red card, I'll give you a beer or 3.
You surely come Saturday night joking.
Well, I actually might. It's at your house.
I'm gonna invite you and Nick Goodies up.
It's at your house.
Yeah.
Bro, and I didn't even cop. That's so gay, man.
People are like laughing and shit and music.
Laughing and shit and music. Yeah, get the fuck on it! Do you mind if I come for a drag or 2?
Yeah, there'll be a romp there, probs.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know you like that. You know,
can we go to O10?
I know I'm coming for your ass!
I'm coming for Al... Sorry.
I'm not talking about it, man. She's actually like one of the most boring people. No, I'm joking.
Fuck, that's good day.
I need to have sex, man.
Bro, stop saying that.
My bad. Connor's like, bro, legit, let me
Who the fuck is Connor, man? Bro, shush, man. I don't need your advice. I don't want your advice.
What's his name?
Cooter.
Cooper. Coochie.
Yeah, man, I need some
David's 13th.